So, Mark, I had the stats right in front of me of the 2018 Miami Hurricanes defense. And I think that's what Manny Diaz is trying to replicate. Him as defensive coordinator, calling the shots, bring back Jess Simpson. Let's enhance our cornerbacks with Travaris Robinson as our cornerbacks coach. Recruiting is going to be A1. But we average as scoring defense, we're number 15 in the nation. We only gave up 18.2 points per game. All right. If Miami does that in 2021, that's a recipe for success. I think that's a 10-2 team right there, 11-1. If we can scoring defense just allow 18.2 points per game. Our total defense was number 2 in the nation. That was 268.3 yards per game. Alabama that year was number 6 and Clemson was number 7. Number 1 was Michigan. So that's pretty impressive right there. Our third down defense, Mark, in 2018 was number 1 in the nation. We allowed teams 23.7% of the times to convert on third down. If we can do that in 2021 with Jess Simpson coming back, Travaris Robinson, Manny Diaz calling the shots, this could be a very nice season moving forward. Now, obviously, the issue was offense in 2018. We had Mark Richt as our offensive coordinator. We really didn't have an identity at the quarterback situation. We were flip-flopping back and forth with MarkRogersTV and N'Kosi Perry. So if we can just find our quarterback, Derek King per se, that is the goal. He'll be healthy, ready to go. If he'll be 100% ready to go and healthy, hey, we can turn this program around. We finished 8-3 this past season. Let's go 10-2 next year. Let's win the bowl game. Why not? North Carolina, they're losing a bunch of offensive playmakers. Yes, they're bringing in Ty Chandler, great running back out of the SEC. I think he led Tennessee in rushing yards. Sam Howell, I think he's a Heisman trophy candidate, in my opinion. I think he's going to put up a stellar season with Phil Longo as their OC. That's the team to look out for. If Miami can beat UNC, if they can go 3-1 out of the non-conference schedule, because, Mark, can you please correct me or tell me I'm wrong if it's a bad mentality to assume Miami's going to lose to Alabama? Because I got people always saying that. It's pretty obvious. Like, if Miami beats Alabama, there will be a major motion picture movie in the works, right, in the next few years. It'll be like a George Mason Final Four run. Like David versus Goliath, because it's just not going to happen. I think it's going to be a real rude awakening once again. But if we can go 3-1 non-conference, take care of North Carolina, look out.
Alabama's the standard. Alabama's the best. We saw that on Monday night. We saw an Ohio State team that's going to produce as many, if not more, NFL players than anybody else in the nation, that had one enormous weakness in the secondary, and Alabama abused them. And Alabama's the best combination of coaching and talent in the nation. They do lose a ton, but they lose a ton every year. They lose one of the best quarterbacks, running backs, 2 best receivers, all of that. But it's replaced. Maybe you catch them a little bit off. So, Alabama has had openers against the likes of some pretty bad Duke and Louisville teams out of the ACC in the last 3 to 4 years. And I don't want to say they took it easy on them, but they weren't complete embarrassments. They were pretty ugly scores. If you watch the first quarter, then you got a good feel for what it could have been, like 75-0, but they pretty much put it on cruise control, and the final was, 34-3 range. But Miami's a much more talented team than either one of the teams I just mentioned. So, as you mentioned, those 2017-18 teams that we're talking about with Miami that posted top 10 to 15 defenses, they are around 80th or 90th in total offense. And even the more advanced metrics, their red zone and third down conversion rates on offense were like bottom 5 to 10 in the nation. So they obviously, in addition to not scoring, they also put the defense in horrible field position on a regular basis. And for the defense to post as good a numbers as they did with bad offense, even underlines how good the defensive performance was at that point.
Yeah, no, look, if Miami can replicate that 2018 defense, I think the magic number for every game is limiting teams to 30 points or less. I think once you get over that 30-point mark, I think that's where you play with fire. In the modern day college football kind of world, you can't give up over 30 points. Now your offense is going to have to answer and put up points. Like we saw against Oklahoma State, they put up 37 points. Miami fell short to a field goal. So I think if Miami can play every opponent and hold them to 30 points or less, replicate that 2018 defense, I think we can have a really nice season, Mark. I think we can. And the goal is to win the ACC Coastal and get to the ACC title game. That is the goal, without a doubt, every single year. That should be the standard at Miami in realistic terms.